The South Sydney players are on the field. We await now the presence of the St George team, and here they come through the gates, led out by their captain, Graham Langlands. And they're the cheers that last accompanied the great St George team to the Sydney Cricket Ground many years ago. Certainly a very popular team, especially now and today that they are the underdogs, but not so in their earlier period of some 5 or 6 years ago when they were the top team in Sydney. They had been for 11 years, and many people were anxious to see their downfall. I'm sure that today there are a lot of people who'd like to see them successful. Souths with the breeze, St George kicking off. Langland's kick is a deep one, and back it goes to Sims, and Sims nicely on the full. That's a big kick by Sims, forcing Smith back, and indeed you could see the result of the breeze blowing the head further back than Smith had thought possible. And the first penalty of the match against South Sydney.
Well, John O'Neill came over the top there. Whether he actually hit Billy Smith or not was a question, but he did attempt to, I think, and the referee would be quite right there in awarding that penalty.
Not a bad kick by Langlands, gained something like 25 yards kicking into that breeze. We'll be mentioning that term, the breeze, quite a lot in this game, but it is quite a strong breeze and therefore will have some effect on the game. Strong spearing tackle by Stevens. Beath. Sattler and O'Neill, the two tacklers, both the prop forwards. Smith himself, no one with him. Smith going the blind side, but there was no support. Back to Beath. Bowen on the 25 to play it. Branson on the blind side. Smith. Beath inside. Beath in the open. And some rugged defence again. That time by Coote. Sixth tackle coming up, and the kick for touch on the full, which means the first scrum of the match will be set just inside the South Sydney 25. It's O'Neill. Grant at dummy half. McCarthy. And you can hear the cheer every time McCarthy touches the ball. Crowd always anticipating that it'll do something spectacular. O'Neill again. Tackled by Bowen, two number 11s. Fitzgerald as well. Sims. Langland's dropping back, but his Sims kick goes to the open side, and that's Carr. No.
Batty.
Batty standing in the tackle. That was a vicious one from behind. So St George midway between the 25 and half. And another penalty going to St George. Stevens caught up offside. Smith. Several dummies there. This is Beath. O'Neill. And the first skirmish of the day. And Bowen, the prop forward, being spoken to. In fact, both number 11s, McCarthy and Bowen, at least O'Neill and Bowen, and that's the result. Not a popular one with the majority of the crowd, but Sims' kick with the breeze. Beautiful 1-2, finds touch, 30 yards out. Stevens, you notice, has his right knee strapped. O'Neill. Very long pass to McCarthy. That's a move that's brought South Sydney many points. The long pass to McCarthy, standing very wide. Sattler now. Really drawing the defence on that occasion. 10 yards out. South's attacking. Sims into the movement. Good tackling by Clapham with St George centre. Just outside the St George 25. Piggins to play it. And play being called up for a scrum inside the St George 25.
Well, so far there's not much in this game, of course, but South do look as though they can make ground when they run with their forwards. They forced St George back there, and they probably outweigh the St George forwards by something like a stone and a half a man at least.
Honan, very elusive player, inside to Grant. O'Neill. Stevens was backing up, but it didn't go to Stevens. It was Pittard, and Pittard getting close. Grant again, Sattler. That's Coote. Coote going for the line. Coote is close, and that's a try to McCarthy. But forward pass and offside. Offside. 10 yards inside the St George half. Grant. Pittard back in much the same position. Coote was well held on that time. Sims, shot for field goal. He's a long way out, but it's not straight enough. Langland's ensuring the ball won't be touched by a South player. Beath. Nice run by Bowen. Smith has Beath there. Branson. Good run by the 5'8". Still 15 yards short of halfway. Smith at dummy half. Sending Sims back, but Sims not particularly worried about that. The ball out on the full, so play comes back for a scrum inside the St George half. Grant to Pittard. Nice work by Pittard away to Edwards. Grant dummy half. Stevens. Sims. And Grant again. Sattler. Strong run by the captain. And the pass from Honan was astray, so we'll see another scrum, this time on the St George 25.
Bob Clapham, the big St George centre, is not particularly clever on his feet, but when he does get hold of them, he's very strong in defence. But I'm just a bit wary of what might happen with Honan, stepping around Clapham.
Bad mistake by Beath. And Honan has it for Souths. O'Neill. Done a fair bit of work already, and we've only had 11 minutes of play. Still no score. McCarthy looking for support. This is Sate. Dummy half. O'Neill again. Sattler. Good run by Coote. Well, nearly split the defence there, but again another nice tackle by Clapham. Grant, a shot for field goal. It's right in front. It looks all right too, and it's astray. Went to the right of the posts. So no goal, and play comes back to the St George 25. Sattler, a very hard runner, down to the 25. Stevens. Quite short for a second row forward, but very mobile and very strong. Grant. McCarthy. And Pittard was backing up. Pittard almost in the open. He is. Pittard has Grant inside, around Langlands. Pittard on his way to the line. Smith comes across, and Smith dives. Great run by Pittard. So South really on the attack. Honan looking for the line. Honan close. And St George have the ball. Langlands. Smith, no support with him. At a time when the forward should be giving support in a position like this, Smith was the only player to take the pass. Branson now, way to Madison. And there's the Rothmans medalist, number 6, who made that great run, Dennis Pittard, for South Sydney. Langlands will kick. An easy one for Sims to take. Down to Fitzgerald, well taken, Fitzgerald. On halfway, that's Piggins, the hooker. Playing it to Honan. Coote standing on the blind side, but it goes to Sadler. Grant again a dummy half. McCarthy. Bowen and Branson, the tacklers. That's Sims, another shot for field goal. He's right in front. This one looks like a straight attempt. It is, and I think that's the first point of the match. A field goal by Sims takes South to a lead of 1-0. We have 2 points on the board, but of course we know that a field goal in this season is worth only 1 point. So South Sydney leading St George by 1-0 after 15 minutes of play. Sadler. McCarthy. Over halfway. Fitzgerald was the tackler. Sattler again. South Sydney players always able to find someone in support. This is Stevens now, out with the backs. One tackle remaining for South. Let's see what they do. Sims is close up, and he puts an up and under to Langlands. Ball taken by Honan. Batty. Clapham, the centre. Madison now. Looking for his support. It was there, but so was the defence. Carr could move only a few yards. Smith to Branson. Bad mistake. And O'Neill, I think, may have it for Souths. He got his hands to it, but a knock-on, so a scrum just inside the St George half, with after 20 minutes of play, Souths leading by 1-0. That's a great run for St George. Smith was almost right through. Langlands looking for somewhere to go all the time. Now a chance for St George. Smith inside. Bowen. Long pass. Could be close for Beath. Beath near the corner post. But again, good defence. And there's that great cover defender, Coote, number 8, affecting the tackle on the St George attacking player to bring play 5 yards out from the South Sydney line. Scrum to be served by halfback Grant for South Sydney. South's ball. Grant 10 yards out from his own line. Stevens. Honan backing up O'Neill. The knockback rules referee Holman, and St George have the ball through Fitzgerald. They've done this quite a lot so far. Clapham, the centre, of dummy half. Branson has Bowen coming inside. Eden